Interstate 5, also known as the I-5, is the main highway along the west coast that runs from Mexico to Canada. It crosses through California, Oregon, and Washington on its 1,381-mile journey. While most people use the route to drive as fast as possible to get to their destination, it does have a lot of fun places to stop if you have the time to get off the highway. On this list, I'm covering some of my favorite stops on the I-5 and purposely skipping the Los Angeles and San Diego areas, as I have videos on both of those on my channel. If you want some stops in those areas though, check out La Jolla, San Juan Capistrano Mission, Disneyland, Dodger Stadium, and Griffith Park. Also, I'll be posting a full road trip video I did from Portland to Los Angeles with my dad that you can find in the description. Let's jump into it, and these recommendations run from south to north. First up, we have the Vista del Lago Visitor Center. As you leave the greater LA area and head towards the Grapevine, a great stop is the Vista del Lago Visitor Center. This building sits above Pyramid Lake and is run by the California Department of Water Resources. It has many fun interactive exhibits on water and the state's connection to it. It also has a deck with beautiful views out over Pyramid Lake, making it a great place to get out and stretch your legs on a road trip. Heading on, we have Fort Tejon State Historic Park. Fort Tejon State Historic Park sits right at the top of the pass before it heads down into the valley. There's a small parking fee here, but the state park is fun to explore and well preserved. The park has the remains of an army outpost that was used from 1854 to 1864, and it has multiple buildings, including a barracks and a home that you can walk through. It's a beautiful and historic area that's hardly ever busy, so it's a great stop on the road trip. Next up, head to Tejon Ranch. There's stuff on both sides of the freeway, including dozens of places to eat and an outlet mall that you can shop at. I usually stop here for Chipotle, In-N-Out, or Dunkin' Donuts, which are my go-to stops, but there's lots of other options as well. Be warned, this is one of the busiest areas on a holiday weekend though. My next recommendation is the Tule Elk State Natural Reserve. The Tule Elk Reserve is another state park located about 5 minutes off the highway. This park has lots of dedicated land that protects a herd of Tule elk. These elk used to be prevalent in the area but were hunted almost to extinction. Many decades of work was done here to preserve the area for them and to work to get them thriving again and relocate them around California. Note that I've been here many times and never seen anything, but on my last trip I actually got to see the elk close up and it was well worth the stop. Check their website, as there's one day a month that they have a tour that takes you through the property as well. Continuing on, the I-5 will get you to Bravo Farms. Like Tejon Ranch, Bravo Farms is another go-to stop on the long drive from Los Angeles to Sacramento. Bravo Farms is pretty amazing and has something for every member of the family. There are antiques to shop, souvenirs you can pick up, a restaurant, an ice cream parlor, and a great children's play area. I basically never pass Bravo Farms when I'm on a road trip, even if it's just for a restroom break, as this place has a lot of fun things to see. There's also an In-N-Out and a Starbucks off the same exit as well. Next up, I recommend Harris Ranch. Harris Ranch is the largest beef producer in the state of California, and you will no doubt see and smell the cows as you drive through the area. The ranch property expanded to a hotel and restaurant in the 1980s and has become one of the most popular spots for an overnight stay on the drive. The restaurant features fantastic steaks and is one of the top 100 busiest restaurants in the United States. My dad and I ate at the restaurant and stayed on the property. It was a great meal and a nice place to stay with a massive pool right in the middle of the property. Continuing on, you'll make it to the state capital of Sacramento, and I have two recommendations for quick stops there. The first is Old Sacramento. Old Sacramento is a major tourist attraction in the city with some of the restored buildings dating back to the 1800s. The area has shops, restaurants, museums, and the beautiful Sacramento Tower Bridge. I love just walking up and down the street, sticking my head in the shop and grabbing a bite to eat. Plan to spend a little time here just walking along the water and exploring the historic district. My second quick recommendation in Sacramento is the state capitol. If you're traveling on a weekday between 8 and 5, then you should also stop to see the California State Capitol, which is only a 5-minute drive from Old Sacramento. The Capitol grounds are beautiful and have plants from all over California on display. You can also go in the Capitol and see the beautiful rotunda and walk the halls to see all the different California counties on display as well. It's a stunning building and a fun weekday road trip stop. If you're looking for other Sacramento road trip stops, I have 14 recommendations on a different video that I'll link to in the description. My next recommendation is the Olive Pit in Corning. After leaving Sacramento, I tend not to stop again until I get to the city of Corning. The Corning Olive Pit is one of my go-to road trip stops that I've been going to for years. The Olive Pit has hundreds of different kinds of green olives with all sorts of fillings, but the highlight for me is the raspberry almonds. I never leave without grabbing a bag, and often I pick up something else as well. There are lots of great snacks and a small restaurant for your road trip here, and it's well worth a stop to grab something. My next recommendation is the Sundial Bridge. Leaving Corning, it's about an hour to Redding, which is a good place to spend the night and which has all sorts of restaurants you'd expect in a city of this size. For me though, the Sundial Bridge is the best road trip stop in Redding. This bridge was built in 2004, has a unique architecture that crosses the river without touching it, and has a full sundial on one side. The bridge is fun to see both during the day and at night when it's lit up. Also, next to the bridge is a great museum if you're traveling with kids, which can easily pass a few hours. My next recommendation is the Shasta Dam. As you leave Redding, the Shasta Dam is an interesting place to stop if you want to go a little bit off the highway. There's a short scenic drive that takes you through the hills and gives you some great views of the dam and the lake behind it. As you get closer to the dam, you can stop at the visitor center to learn more about it as well. It's the 8th tallest dam in the United States and it was built in 1945, so it's an engineering feat that's well worth seeing. Heading on, my next recommendation is the Shasta Caverns. As you continue north on the I-5, keep your eyes peeled for Shasta Caverns. If you have the time, this is an amazing place to visit and a fun tour to go on. The caverns are located on the other side of the lake, so you have to take a boat over to it, then a bus up to the cave where you can start the tour. You'll walk through the cave for a good 45 minutes, and it's more of a half-day adventure since it takes so long to get there, but it's certainly a very unique thing to do in California. Continuing on, my next recommendation is Yaks on the 5. As you make it to the town of Dunsmuir, Yaks on the 5 is a great place to stop for a meal. Don't expect it to be healthy, but do expect it to be tasty. The burgers here come with everything from piles of cilantro to garlic, and you can get the famous lavender ketchup on the side to go with it. They also serve amazing sticky buns here as well, and the restaurant was voted one of the best restaurants in the United States by Yelp for a few years in a row. Let me know what you think in the comments if you go to this spot. Next up we have Hedge Creek Falls. Hedge Creek Falls is located only 5 minutes up the road from Yaks, and it's a fantastic waterfall hike for the whole family. The hike is short as it heads down to an impressive 30-foot waterfall. When you get there, you can actually walk behind it, and there are many opportunities for great photos here. Do note that it's downhill all the way to the waterfall, so it's uphill on switchbacks on the way out. That being said, it's not too hard for most people, but it is pretty tricky if there's snow on the ground. My next recommendation is Mount Shasta. As you leave Dunsmuir, you'll make it to the town of Mount Shasta, which has the famous volcano with the same name. If it's clear, you can see the mountain peeking out from the highway as you drive, and there's a sign to overlook where you can get a good view. If you can see the mountain well when you're driving through, I would definitely recommend getting off in the city to grab some coffee or something to eat and just to soak in the views of this incredible 14,000-foot peak. If you want to know what it's like to climb it, you can see that in another video I made when Amy and I climbed it a couple years ago. My next recommendation is the Sacramento River headwaters. While in the town of Mount Shasta, head over to the headwaters of the Sacramento River. The headwaters are located in a small park at the edge of town and are signed so that they're easy to find. It's impressive to see the babbling brook that's the small beginnings of this massive waterway which carves through most of the northern part of the state. It's a quick stop, but it helps to put in perspective how something small could lead to something so big. My last recommendation in California is the Yreka Dragon. The Yreka Dragon is a statue that sits on the east side of the freeway as you leave the town of Yreka. Keep your eyes peeled for it and pull fully off the road if you want to see it. It's a fun piece of public art right along the freeway, and it's beautifully situated with the stunning landscape that's all around it. I always stop to get a quick photo. From there, the last stop on this video is the Welcome to Oregon sign. If you're interested in more Oregon stops, watch the road trip I did with my dad. Thanks again for watching this video. Let me know what I left off in the comments, and we will see you on the next one.